We are back on your favorite afternoon show, The Pulse, here on Joy News. Now let me take you to the Western region because the Aboase Power Enclave, responsible for producing 730 megawatts of Ghana's electricity, along with several strategic state installations, is under threat of being consumed by the sea. The Ghana Hydrological Authority would issue the warning, said the devastation will be catastrophic if immediate protective measures are not taken. Adobe Asare was at a news conference and now reports.
The Ghana Hydrological Authority says it has now become urgent for the country to protect the threatened institutions or lose them.
So along our coastal stretch, we have different or varying levels of vulnerability. So at one end, we are losing as much as 1.3 meter per year to the coast.
They include the St. Augustine's College, the University of Cape Coast, the Cape Coast Nursing and Midwifery College. Also under threat is the Accra, Cape Coast and Cape Coast Takoradi stretch of the N1 highway, all in the central region.
The Accra is in Cape Coast, and we have on the Cape Coast Takoradi Road very, very much at risk. We have St. Augustine's College. If any of you went to St. Augustine's, I have to pray that we can do this work very quickly. Otherwise, in a couple of years' time, St. Augustine's will disappear from the surface of the earth. We have Cape Coast Central Hospital nearby as well.
In the Western region, the Aboase Power Enclave, where the Takoradi Power Plant and the Twin Energy Station are located, will all be affected.
We have a Aboase Enclave where we have a power plant that is at risk. You know, the sea is very close to the power plant.
In the Greater Accra region, Dansoman, Ningo Pram Pram, the Denua Flower Highway, as well as some communities in the Volta region, all face the threat.
So that is Dansoman, and you will see, you know, these are recent photos showing properties being lost. You know, Dansoman particularly, the sea is very close to the road, and if nothing is done shortly, we will lose the road to the sea, along with all the houses sitting next to the road.
Some work is already underway to protect threatened communities, but the Hydrological Authority says the country will have to find $200 million to build coastal defense systems to avert a possible destruction of these communities. Adobia Asari for Joy News, Accra.
Well, let's explore this matter, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Hydrological Authority, Dr. John Kusi, joins me via Zoom. Dr. Kusi, you're welcome. And this imminent threat, how or what can we do to avert it? And if you can kindly unmute for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Yes, these are imminent threats, and we often, when we talk about flooding, our focus tends to be on the surface water flooding that we experience, you know, from storm water, and we haven't really paid much attention to tidal flooding and coastal erosion, which also poses significant threats to lives and livelihoods, properties, and strategic national assets. So we are trying to draw attention to these issues that require urgent attention. As we stated at the press conference, we have different degrees of vulnerability. There are certain areas that we need to take, you know, immediate steps,
right,
you know, to protect important national assets like the Aboase Power Enclave that we talked about.
So what can be done? I mean, you started from the Western region, you came to the Central region, and also to the Greater Accra. It appears that our coastal line, I mean, everything there appears to be under threat.
That's correct. So we would need to implement coastal protection measures to mitigate, you know, against this coastal erosion and tidal flooding. There's ongoing work, as we have already identified. There are 8 of them ongoing, and at the various levels of completion. We're expecting that by the end of this year, 3 of them will be commissioned. But that protects 80-kilometer stretch. All the works we've done in the past and what we are doing currently protect 80-kilometer stretch. We have 370-kilometer stretch at risk. We've protected 80, leaving 290 currently unprotected. And within that 290, where we have identified those important national assets. We are conscious that we can't do everything, but what we are saying is that these areas of particular interest and particular importance to the country's development, like the Aboase Power Enclave, we need to take immediate steps to protect.
Now, Doctor, is the construction of sea defense the only solution?
No, that is not the only solution. We also have nature-based solutions. The Ghana Hydrological Authority is exploring other, sustainable measures or more sustainable measures like nature-based solutions. Those ones take time to have the impact and the effect that is needed. So, for example, we're doing some work with the World Bank. We're also doing some work with the Dutch Water Board, exploring nature-based solutions. It will take time for those ones to materialize. And if we're going to wait for those ones, some of these strategic assets will be lost to the sea.
So how much of time do we have that if we don't act, the danger ahead of us will visit us?
So if we take a look at the Duaku in Cape Coast, talking about the Accra Takoradi Road, the sea is very close to the road, and I think that within the next year we should take measures at least to immediately protect that section where the sea is very close to the road. I'm conscious that there's some discussion ongoing, and very soon I'm sure some work will be done in that space. But other places around the Aboase Power Enclave, I think we're talking about months here. Within months that we should take steps to take those protective measures. A place like Nzelebu, where the Navy has recently constructed a forward operating base, significant investment is going in there. The areas around the base are exposed and currently experiencing a very high rate of erosion, and again, immediate steps have to be taken to protect. Otherwise, we'll lose the value of all that investment that's gone into the forward operating base.
Someone is asking, we've lived with the sea for as long as the country or the world has existed. Why should we be so concerned about the sea, taking over property, close to it?
Yes, we are experiencing climate change, even though we probably don't talk much about it. We're experiencing sea level rises. So even when we talk about the 180-kilometer stretch that is not currently at risk, there's an increasing threat because the sea level is rising. Our human activities along the coast is contributing to the rate of erosion. Sand winning activities along the coast, removal of vegetation along the coast exposes the coastline to the tidal effect, and that accelerates the rate of erosion. So yes, we've lived with the sea, but times are changing. Development is happening everywhere, and so we are increasing the risk by our own activities and by the nature itself. Talking about climate change, and that is why we need to pay attention to the increasing risk. It's a risk that is increasing, and it's not going to decrease with climate change. And if you look, you go to some areas, for example, communities have been lost to the sea.
Right.
Yes, you talk to people, and they will tell you that my house used to be over there, and they'll be pointing maybe some 10 meters into the sea. So at the rate that some sections of our coastline is eroding, some sections are actually eroding at about a meter per year. And so if you count in 10 years, you lose 10 meters of your land to the sea. It's quite serious, and
Absolutely.
we really need to take steps. Yes.
And you've made some projections in terms of how much we require to stay afloat, $200 million. Is it to take care of the entire coastline, the 290 kilometers you spoke about?
Not at all, not at all. So In fact, in the interaction with the press, we have an estimate for the 290-kilometer stretch. We need about $3 billion.
$3 billion.
Now, that's correct. So, you're talking about those important strategic assets that need immediate and urgent attention. That is probably the where that 200 million is coming. But for our entire coastline, we need a lot more than that.
And is government aware? Have you told government about this? And is there a response as to how to progress on this matter?
There's ongoing engagement on this matter. We had our minister, Honorable Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, paying a surprise visit to our offices earlier this week, and this formed part of the conversations that we had. And so government is aware, but we need to be conscious of the fact that this is not a challenge that government alone can address.
Right.
And that is why we have also been talking about the National Hydrological Fund, a fund that came to being under the Ghana Hydrological Act, Act 1085. It establishes the fund so that we can have businesses and individuals contributing to solving this national challenge that we have. So, we have, apart from important national assets, we also have businesses operating along the coast.
Right.
And their businesses are at risk as well. Restaurants, hotels, beach resorts, and all of that at risk. And so we are hoping that by, bringing this message out, they would also come to appreciate the need to help, to contribute to addressing this challenge that we have.
Dr. Kissi, finally, before I let you go, this is in a way related, but I'm wondering if you have any role at all to play. Now, in the last few months, the Volta River Authority, they've been consistent in updating the nation on the water level at the Akonsombo Dam. And even as we speak today, the level as of today is higher than what it was last year when they spilled the water that caused the destruction. Now, they've been updating every day. I don't know whether you have any relation to do with this, and as we go forward in terms of the spillage they want to undertake, how they want to progress, how they must go about it, so that we avoid the destruction that happened last year.
Yes, you're right. So one aspect of our work is hydrological monitoring of our river bodies. So we have installations along the Volta Basin, and we do provide data to the VRA to help them with their own prediction and planning as well. So we do have a role, we do have collaborative work with them, and sometimes we provide advice to them on some of these measures. And when we do also issue our seasonal forecasting, we let them know, roughly how much inflow is to be expected in a year, and that guides them also in their planning.
So spillage is unavoidable, but how should they go about it so that the destruction can be minimized?
Yes, so the best way is to start spilling sooner than later, and that is where the prediction comes in, because it's always a balance between having too much water and having too little water, and so when we use our data that we've obtained over several years to predict how much rain is expected, or how much inflow is expected, it's intended to guide them so that they can initiate the spillage earlier. When it comes to the impact, once spilling begins, then the VRA works closely with NADMO.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. John Kissi is the CEO of the Ghana Hydro Authority. Now, let me take you to Parliament, because the minority NDC say governments must immediately settle about 6 billion cedis it owes several contractors and suppliers in relation to the free senior high school program. According to the group, the suppliers of the tablets for the senior high school students is currently owed in excess of 300 million cedis. Speaking to journalists in Parliament, minority spokesperson on education, Peter Nochukote, warned that several of these businesses would collapse if government reneges on its responsibilities towards them.
I can say that information available to me indicates that over 6 billion is being owed to companies, individuals, and organizations in relation to free senior high school. For instance, this year they launched the tablets for senior high schools. It's a very good program. This is because it's going to reduce the burden on the printing of textbooks. And you know our children, how they handle textbooks. I mean, every 3 or 4 years, we have to replace them. So the idea is fine, and we support it. Even if you look at NDC's manifesto for 2020, it was there. We even added tertiary institutions. So we support the idea, but we should do it at a time where resources are available. You have asked somebody to do this or supply the tablets, but 1.3 million, that is 1,350,000 to cover all students. You are not paying for it. Meanwhile, the man has gone for a loan, and it is at a cost of 337 million Ghana cedis. You have not paid the person. You have paid him less than 10% of the cost. If he had gone for a bank, a guarantee or whatever, how would the person pay? So, as a minority, we are concerned that if we do this, we are killing businesses of individuals and companies in the country. So there's a need for us to intervene on their behalf.
Our government owes WAEC 224 million despite paying some amount for the BEC. With WASSCE on the horizon, the minority said the amount must be paid immediately.
Government still owes WAEC. You know, as part of the free senior high school policy or program, students are not to pay for WASSCE. Government pays everything on their behalf. The examination is about to start in August. However, government has not released any money to WAEC. Now, they owe them 2024, they owe them arrears of 2023, and 2024, they have not paid anything. Total of 224 million Ghana cedis. That is what they are owing WAEC. So WAEC is unable to talk again because we had to talk for them before money was released for the BEC. And we shouldn't be going that tangent. Whatever is due to an institution or an agency that is to perform a function on behalf of government must receive resources early enough to plan ahead.
All right, so let me bring in Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kwaku Asante. So, Kwaku, I'm wondering, are you taking part in a football match today?
Although I wasn't selected, in fact, Haruna Admisu just took my position as the striker for the members of Parliament. And the game is currently going on. MPs had to take an early shower today in Parliament.
Well, we are having connection issues with Kwaku Asante. Parliament's 11 against former Black Stars 11. That match is ongoing at the Accra Sports Stadium. It's the Democracy Trophy. Kwaku, so you're telling me about the game? Yes, so we're having issues with connection. So it is just part of Ghana celebrating 30 years. Parliament. Yes, Kwaku, please go on.
Yes, the former members of Parliament, the members of Parliament, as you say, have scored just now, and the Black Star former players have also equalized. It's 1-1 in the game that is currently going on in the at the Accra Sports Stadium. Haruna Admisu has been promising in the attack. He has just been taken off for Member of Parliament for the Dio in the person of Neil and Van der Poel to take his position. That game is cagey, and I can tell you that the Black Stars players, the former Black Stars players, are having a top to these members of Parliament. Many of them not in good shape, but playing really well in the game that is currently beaming on a number of television stations. Members of Parliament, as part of this Democracy Cup, are playing former Black Stars players before Kotoko and Hart themselves will play at 6 o'clock to the other crowd. And encounter Super Ultra, and I just couldn't make it in the first 11.
But I mean, the Electoral Commission chairperson also took advantage of this game to sort of play a neutral role.
Well, yes, early on, Parliament presented the Democracy Cup to the Electoral Commission. Madame Jane Mensah received Parliament on behalf of the Commission. That the 2024 election is going to be free and fair, and urged political parties that will be defeated to accept the results.
Let's talk about what has happened today on the floor beyond the football game.
Well, the major business Parliament undertook today was to deliver a statement on this Democracy Cup. Members of Parliament have been reflecting on 30 years of parliamentary democracy, urging Ghanaians to continuously play their role in ensuring that Ghana's democracy is safeguarded and to ensure that we do not fall in the tar among others. Members of Parliament, before going to the Accra Sports Stadium to play this game, well, did indulge themselves in this, indicating their readiness to go and play this. So today, Parliament did not do much except to head to the Accra Sports Stadium to play this game.
Okay, thank you so much for this update from the House. Well, that's our show, folks, for today. We have more stories on myjoyonline.com. Stories on myjoyonline.com. We have the Interior Minister. We have the Attorney General responding to the Supreme Court ruling on the anti-gay bill. And of course, so that's our show, folks, for today. It's been exciting always having you here on The Pulse. Tomorrow, same time at 3 p.m., we'll have the Thursday edition of the show. But we have more stories coming up on Joy News Prime, on Top Story and Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. But whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Brobe. Have a good evening.